Hi everybody, my name is Jeffrey Hameter and I'm in the Arrowhead District, and I'm here to talk about the Sky is the Limit Tiger Adventure that's part of the Tiger Adventure box for day camp this year for the Baltimore Area Council. In your box you should have received a guide to Sky is the Limit, and that will be something that you can fill out and give to your den leader so that they can sign off and make sure you get credit for doing all of this. Also in your box you should have received a telescope. Nice fun one. It's about 30-time telescope, monocular. If you haven't put it together yet, this is what it would look like put together. And it's really only two pieces in the kit. One is the tripod, and just put those out like that. And then you have the tube, and it just clicks in like that. And we will talk a little bit about how to do that later on in the video. But that's what you should have received in the kit. This is a really fun adventure. It's all about space and just looking up and enjoying the stars, learning a little bit about them, having fun doing it. I hope you have a lot of fun. Remember, do your best. This is Cub Scouts, and it will be a lot of fun. The Sky is the Limit is an elective adventure which can be used to earn the Tiger Badge. A Scout must complete requirements 1 through 3, plus at least one other. The first requirement for this adventure is to go outside with an adult and observe the night sky. There are lots of things that you can observe. If you can't go outside, remember this is Cub Scouts, so just do your best and talk about the things that you might see out there, or try a different night. There are a lot of things that you can see out there. There are a lot of natural and man-made objects out there. The natural ones, things you can kind of probably think of when you think about going stargazing. It's things like the moon, the stars, planets, meteors. Right now there's a comet, Neowise, that you can see particularly at night, the time that I'm just after about 10 o'clock, maybe by the time you see this video. So there's a lot of things out there that you can see. But in the man-made, don't forget the man-made objects. There are planes, we can see those. We can see satellites. Sometimes you can see the International Space Station. So there's a lot of things out there that you can see. So take your time to think about those, think about what they are, and talk with your parent about what each one of those things are. For the second requirement for this adventure, you need to look through your telescope or a pair of binoculars just at a distant object. For the telescope, it's got a tripod that'll make it easier to make it hold steady. You can loosen this knob here and that'll help it go up and down. And the tripod is a little low for me, but if you need to, you can just hold it and look through it like a sea captain or a spyglass. So the first thing you really want to do though is definitely take off the eyepiece. Can't see anything with that on there. Then use your dominant eye, which is the eye that you see best with, and you just look through the finder right here. If it's not in focus, this goes in and out like that. So you can just look through it, and it'll be lots of fun. You'll be able to see pretty far, and it'll look really good. If you want to use binoculars, a lot of people try to think of it like a telescope and they only use one eye, but you really should use two eyes when you use binoculars, and you just put your eyes up like that. Most binoculars will kind of pivot on the middle so that you can adjust, because everybody has different eyes. And then in order to focus, there's usually a knob in the middle that you can rotate to the left and to the right. Another thing about binoculars is if you're wearing glasses like me, a lot of times they have these rubber cups around the eyes. You might want to flip those down, and that way you can look through them. So otherwise, you probably want to take them up and There are lots of scouts who have been to space. You may need to go online, look things up in a book or in a magazine such as Boy's Life to find out about some scouts who have been to space. These are some resources that can be used to find out more about scouting in space. As a reminder, if a scout is going to go online, it should only be done with a parent's permission and supervision, and the scout should complete their cyber check. The fourth requirement, which is one of the electives that you can choose to do, is to observe the night sky, or if you can't go out and observe, you can learn about some constellations from either some books. You can use a planisphere, you can use an app, you can use some websites, all of that. And what you want to do is you want to look through these and find out about 2 constellations. So in this one, I'm looking at the July sky. I can see that if I'm looking south, I might see Scorpius or Sagittarius. If I'm looking almost straight up, I'm likely to see Lyra and Cygnus and Aquila, and that actually makes a very nice the summer triangle. And what you want to do is you want to learn about the stars that are in those constellations, and write them down. Again, you have your form here. You can just write down the star names, and you should do some research to find out how the constellation got its name. Again, many websites will do it. I have a wonderful book here on Star Lore Handbook that talks about all the different constellations. Constellations go by different names in different cultures, so you don't have to pick the ones that we know. Almost all cultures in the Northern Hemisphere have some version of, for example, Orion. As most cultures have seen that as a type of human in the sky. But find out what the stars are that are in it, and find out how it got its name in whichever culture you choose. These are some resources that can be used to find out more about constellations. They're private, so they're not affiliated with Scouting in any way, but they could be useful, and as before, they should be used only with a parent or guardian's supervision and permission. As before also, it's always good to complete that cyber chip. The fifth requirement is also an elective requirement, and for this one, you really just have to draw and name your own constellation. The handout that you have has a nice big space for it. It's also in your book, and if you have your Tiger book, there's a place to do it. But just think about what you would like a constellation to look like. It doesn't have to look like anything you really want, and then just draw it, and you can make your stars look however you want them. I'm just going to do little circles, but you can just think about it. And remember, constellations are very imaginative. They don't necessarily look exactly like the things that they represent. So you can have lots of things, and you can also have big stars, which you can make with big dots, small stars, and the like. So you might not be able to tell this, but mine's a unicorn. It's a very nice unicorn, I think. It's got the little horn here, little head here. Maybe I'll make a little bit more of a head there, and some legs, tail. Again, it doesn't have to look very good. Do your best. It'll be fun. Requirement 6 is another optional requirement, and it is essentially to make your own model of a constellation. And in order to do that, you need a empty can of any size. It should be cleaned and dry. You also need a hammer and a nail. You can use different size nails to make different size stars, but essentially all you're going to do is poke holes in the bottom of the can. And when you do that, it'll end up looking like a constellation. So let me demonstrate on this can here. So for this one, you can just do that. You may need a parent's help to do this. Again, different nails are better at this than others. But I've just made a triangle. That's going to be my constellation. It doesn't have to be anything special. Just do your best. If it'll help, one thing you can do is draw your constellation on the bottom of the can, and that'll help you figure out where to put the holes. And this is something that my son did. It's either a hand or a bear claw, and you can see where all the toes of the hands go and then the heel there. And with that, if you then take a flashlight, you can flash light in there and shine it on the wall, and it'll make the constellation show up a lot better. It's the middle of the day here, so I can't show you, but you can try that at home. So. The final two requirements for the sky's the limit are optional, and they are to find out about 2 different jobs related to astronomy and to share this information with your den, and with your den or family, visit a planetarium, observatory, science museum, astronomy club, or college or high school astronomy teacher. Before you go, write down questions you might want to ask. I provided 2 resources. One is to NASA, and the other is to the Smithsonian Institute's Air and Space Museum. While you may not be able to go to a science museum or planetarium right now, these and other planetariums and organizations offer really interesting virtual shows, kid-friendly webinars, and other options. Of course, if you do go on these or any other internet sites, please be sure it's with a parent or guardian's permission and supervision. So thank you all for doing this. I hope you all had fun and did your best. And if you finish this, you'll have earned your Sky's the Limit adventure. Congratulations. And hopefully maybe one day you'll be an astronaut or an astronomer or astrophysicist or some other position. So thanks.